Women and Peace Building about Jennifer F. Klott, Social Science Research Council. Introduction. Gender equality brings to peace building new degree of democratic inclusiveness, faster and more durable economic growth, and women and social capital recovery. And that peace building may will offer the single greatest opportunity to redress gender inequalities and injustice of the past while setting new precedents for the future. The reality for women in post-conflict situation has grown increasingly volatile as the scores of HIV/AIDS accumulates and interacts with the influx of poverty, natural disaster, and environmental degradation. Today, women in the aftermath of crisis have perilously little protection or access to service, justice, economic security, or citizenship. The Peace Building Commission Gender Mandate. This paper explored the early experience and potential of the Peace Building Commission and integrating a gender perspective into its work. Although the gender equality mandate of the PBC and Security Council are complementary, their structure and function denote very different opportunities for making women and gender issue central to the UN's peace-building agenda. This paper assists the Commission early efforts to fulfill its mandate in relation to three principal strategies for mainstreaming and a gender equality perspective into the peace building. Number 1. Addressing the particular impact of conflict on women's recovery, especially sexual and gender-based violence. Number 2. Supporting women's full participation in our ownership of peace building and recovery process. And the last, number 3, ensuring that national priorities for recovery, political, social, and economic, address inequalities of the past and possibility influence gender relation and contribute to gender equality. Additionally, the paper processes elements of a peace-building agenda for women and action to guide the Commission efforts to integrate a gender perspective into its strategic priorities, policy direction, operational approach, and resource mobilization efforts.
Gender with the context of the PBC frameworks for Sierra Leone and Burundi. Ito ang pagsusuri sa mga oportunidad para mapalakas ang suporta sa kababaihan at peace building sa konteksto ng mga pangunahing layunin ng PBC o Peace Building Commission ay batay sa pagre-review ng mga PBC Strategic Framework, mga priority plans ng Peace Building Fund or PBF at iba pa. Ang Sierra Leone Peace Building Cooperation Framework ay nagtataguyod ng mabisang pakikalahok ng mga kababaihan sa iba't ibang antas ng proseso ng Peace Building Commission para sa Sierra Leone. Ang isang national consultation for enhancing women's engagement with the UN's Peace Building Commission in Sierra Leone na pinatawag ng UNIFEM at PBSO noong Enero 2007. Naging epektibo sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon sa mga lider ng kabataan at organisasyon ng lipunan ukol sa PBC at sa pagtatag ng isang pambansang peace-building agenda para sa kababaihan. Ang PBC ay naglaro ng epektibong papel sa pagbibigay ng suporta sa gender-aware na legal at judicial reform. Number 2. Strategic Framework for Peace Building in Burundi. Ito ay naglalayong itaguyod ang kapayapaan at demokrasya sa bansa. Ang focus nito ay pagkakaroon ng pantay na karapatan sa mga kababaihan at kabataan. Noong Oktubre 2006, nagsagawa ang UNIFEM, Ministry of Gender at mga organisasyon ng civil society ng konsultasyon tungkol sa kasarian at kapayapaan upang makaimpluwensya sa paghahanda para sa Peace Building Commission at Peace Building Fund. At patuloy pa rin nananawagan ang mga kababaihan para sa mas malakas na pag-unlad at kakayahan nila sa proseso ng PBC. Ang strategic framework ay tinutukoy din ang panganib na dala ng mga puwersa ng seguridad at lumabag sa karapatan ng mga sibilyan.
2. Strategic framework for peace building and Burundi. Okay, let's break down the strategic framework for peace building and Burundi, focusing on the key points about women's roles and challenges. The good of strategic framework for peace building and Burundi. 1. Women's participation. The Arusha peace process saw significant women's involvement, making gender equality a central part of Burundi's governance and peace-building framework. 2. Quota system. The peace agreement and constitution introduced quotas, successfully increasing women's representation and parliament and government position. 3. Monitoring and tracking. The monitoring and tracking mechanism offer a template for gender-sensitive indicators, which can be used to monitor progress and identify obstacles. The challenges of strategic framework for peace building in Burundi. 1. Lack of sustained support. Despite initial momentum, women's engagement was limited by insufficient funding and exclusion from implementation mechanism. 2. Limited impact. Women's organizations relied heavily on international NGOs for information and capacity building, hindering their full participation in peace-building process. 3. Discrimination persists. Despite constitutional guarantees, women face discrimination in areas like family law, property rights, inheritance, and employment.
Strengthening the agenda for women peace building, substantive gaps and strategic consideration. This review of the PBC progress in integrating a gender perspective into its work reveals a number of substantive gaps which have yet to be brought in the PBC's agenda or within the context of other related development and poverty reduction framework. Pag-aadal sa PBC nagpapahiling na may mga kulang pa sa pag-intindi kan mga babae sa trabaho kaini. Daipa ini na-address sa mga plano kan PBC o sa mga ibang plano sa pag-unlad asin pagbawas kan kapobrehan. Substantive gender gaps within the peace-building commissions. A. Military to civilian transitions. This focuses on the transition from military service to civilian life as a key area where gender gaps might exist. Ang focus nito ay ang paglipat mula sa serbisyo militar patungo sa buhay sibilyan bilang isang mahalagang lugar kung saan maaaring umiral ang mga pagkakaiba sa kasarian. B. Social protection. Social protection is like a safety net for individuals and families. It's a system of policies and programs that aim to. Ang social protection nagsisilbi ini bilang sarong safety net na nagpoprotekta sa mga tao halo sa kapobrehan, mga pagkabigla asin mga kalamidad. C. HIV/AIDS. HIV, Human Immunodeficiency Virus, the virus that attacks immune system. Detailed of how HIV works. Number 1. Target. Specifically targets CD4 cells, a type of white blood cell crucial for fighting off infections. 2. Invasion. Enters the body through bodily fluids like blood, semen, vaginal fluids, and breast milk. Number 3. Replication. Uses the CD4 cells machinery to replicate itself, creating more copies of the virus. 4. Immune suppression.
intoxicate and destroy CD4 cells, the immune system becomes progressively weaker, making the body vulnerable to opportunistic infections and cancers. AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency virus. It is the most advanced stage of HIV infection. The final stage of HIV infection where the immune system is severely compromised. AIDS is a serious consequence of untreated HIV infection. However, with the proper medical care and support, people living with AIDS can live longer, healthier lives.
Strategy considerations of issues on the Peacebuilding Commission's agenda. A. Sexual and gender-based violence, exploitation. SGV, or sexual and gender-based violence, impacts all areas of peacebuilding including arms control, HIV/AIDS prevention, transportation planning, economic recovery, and reintegration efforts. It also causes deep psychological and social harm, threatening social cohesion within families, communities, and nations. However, responses to SGBV have been inadequate, underfunded, and inconsistently applied in peacebuilding frameworks, largely due to the lack of evidence-based strategies for prevention, protection, and recovery. Addressing these gaps is crucial for sustainable peace. B. Security sector reform. This means that although the overall security sector is being reformed, there is still a gap in addressing women's safety needs, especially from threats posed by non-state or unauthorized security elements such as militias or rebel groups. Ministries of Finance, Interior, and Justice play crucial roles in this process by overseeing resources, law enforcement, and legal structures. Yet, risks faced by women from these non-authorized groups have not been adequately considered or addressed in their planning. This leaves a significant vulnerability for women in post-conflict situations. C. Judicial reform. To increase women's access to justice, legal reforms are needed to ensure that both formal, government-based, and traditional, community-based justice systems align with international human rights standards. This means eliminating practices and laws that discriminate against women. Achieving this requires technical support for various reforms including 1. Constitutional reforms. It means changing the country's fundamental laws to protect women's rights. 2. Legislative reforms, which means updating or creating laws that promote gender equality. And 3. Electoral reforms, ensuring women's equal participation in political processes. And 4. Judicial reforms, improving the legal system to fairly address gender-based issues. And lastly, reforming military codes, ensuring the military justice system respects and protects women's rights. D. The macroeconomics of gender-responsive peace building. Women are disproportionately affected by strict macroeconomic policies often implemented during a country's transition to peace. These policies include measures such as the commercialization and privatization of agricultural land, which severely impact women. When agricultural land becomes privatized, women often lose access to the land and resources they depend on for their livelihoods. Because women typically hold less economic power and occupy unequal roles in the labor market and household, they are more severely impacted by policies that privatize basic services. This includes areas like energy, communications, transportation, healthcare, and education, where privatization often leads to increased costs, reducing women's ability to access them. These economic shifts, um, existing gender inequalities, and deepen the challenges women face during post-conflict recovery. Letter E, socioeconomic recovery. Um, Poverty reduction strategies often focus on pro-for investments that aim to uplift the most marginalized groups. These investments typically include low-skill vocational training, public works jobs, microcredit scams, and primary education. While these efforts provide immediate relief and basic opportunities, they are not sufficient for long-term development. In sense, countries need to go beyond basic short-term poverty reduction measures and invest in education and technologies that foster long-term economic development and competitiveness. F. Democracy and good governance. Um, in many conflict and post-conflict countries, systems or institutions dedicated to promoting women's rights and gender equality, known as national mechanisms or machineries, have been set up. However, these structures often need to be reinforced to effectively support women's involvement in shaping public policy and ensuring their active participation in decision-making processes. While the initial establishment of these mechanisms is a positive step, they often lack the necessary resources, influence, or political backing to drive significant change. Strengthening them could involve providing more funding, ensuring they have legal authority, integrating them into key government sectors, and building their capacity to advocate for women's needs. This would help ensure that women's voices are heard and that gender equality is prioritized in the creation and implementation of public policies, particularly in post-conflict recovery and rebuilding efforts. Lastly, letter F, the Dickmore, no, sorry, lastly, G, the youth empowerment and employment. So, Burundi and Sierra Leone face challenges in achieving their goals of youth empowerment and employment because young people have different needs at various stages of their development. So, the impacts of conflict have affected boys and girls in distinct ways. To effectively empower youth and create employment opportunities, strategies must consider these differences. For instance, the conflict may have affected boys and girls differently in terms of trauma, access to education, and the rules they were forced into during the conflict, such as child soldiers or caretakers. Boys might face challenges related to reintegration or education, while girls might face additional barriers like early marriage, caregiving, responsibilities, or gender-based violence.
I'm Kate Razel Bautista Flor. This is my part in the reporting. 5 recommendation. Although women's participation and gender equality is a predictable peace-building gap, it is striking how far this core issue is lacking in institutional capacity, policy and operational guidance, program implementation, data monitoring and evaluation, knowledge and resources. Meaning, ang partisipasyon ng kababaihan ay pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian ay ang mahuhulaan ng puwang ang pagkabuo ng kapayapaan, kapansin-pansin kung gaano kalayo ang pangunahing issue na ito. At ang kulang ng kapasidad ng institutional ng patakaran at gabay ng pagpapatupad ng data at pagsusubaybay sa mga pagsusuring kaalaman at mapagkukunan. Number 1. Increase woman participation in peace building. A. Provide backstaffing and surge support to facilitate women's participation in all relevant peace building processes, national steering committees, women's machinery, and other relevant regional and international processes. Ibig sabihin, magbigay ng backstopping at surge support para mapadali ang partisipasyon ng kababaihan sa lahat ng nag-uugnay ng mga proseso ng peace building at mga national steering committee at makinarya ng kababaihan at iba pa, kaugnay sa regional na international na proseso. B. Ensure gender expertise in all PBC assessment and field mission and visits and country-specific meetings, both formal and informal. Ibig sabihin na tinitiyak ng kadalubhaasan ng kasarian ng lahat ng pagtatasa ng PBC at mga misyon at pagbisita at sa mga particular na pagpupulong na parehong formal at informal. At magsagawa ng dialogo ng lipunang sibil at nakatuon sa mga issue at sa kasarian at pagbuo ng kapayapaan at tumulong sa tulay paghihiwalay sa pagitan ng mga katutubong organisasyon ng kababaihan at mga aktibidad sa pagpapatakbo ng mga international na organisasyonal. C. Convince civil society dialogues focus on gender and peace-building issue and help bridge the disconnect between indigenous women organization and the other operational activities of international organization. Ibig sabihin, magtitipon ng mga dialogo sa lipunang sibil na nakatuon sa mga issue sa kasarian at pagpapaunlad ng kapayapaan at tulong sa tulay o pagpapahiwalay sa pagitan ng mga katutubong organisasyon ng kababaihan at mga aktibidad na nagpapatakbo ng mga international. Number 2, strengthen institutional capacity for gender equality and peace building. A. Support institutional strengthen of women's peace-building organization. Ito ang pagpapasuporta ng pagpapalakas ng institutional na mga organisasyon pagpapaunlad sa kapayapaan ng kababaihan. B. Support catalytic activities at country level which are essential for implementing peace-building frameworks. Ito naman ang pagsuporta ng catalytic na aktibidad sa antas ng bansa na mahalaga para magpapaunlad ng mga framework ng peace building. C. Strengthen institutional capacity throughout the UN system in support of gender equality and peace building aims. Ito naman ay ang para palakasin ang kapasidad ng mga institusyonal sa buong sistema ng UN sa pagsuporta sa pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian at layunin ng peace building. Number 3, respond to gaps in knowledge and information on gender and peace building. A. Support research and disciplinary collaboration on critical gaps and strategic priorities relevant to women and peace building. Ito naman ang pagsuporta sa pagpapanaliksik at interdisciplinary na pakikipagtulungan ng mga critical na gaps at mga estrahikong prioridad. May kaugnayan sa kababaihan at pagbuo ng kapayapaan. B. Systematically collect information on lessons learned in UN peacebuilding mission and relevant post-conflict settings. Ito naman ang sistematikong pangolekta ng informasyon sa mga aral na natutunan na sa US peacebuilding mission at kaugnay mga specify gender equality indicators as part of ongoing efforts to further develop monitoring and tracking mechanism to follow up gender equality commitments made in the context of peace building frameworks. Ito naman para tukuyin mga pagpahiwatig ng mga pagkakapantay-pantay na kasarian bilang bahagi ng patuloy sa pagsusumikap upang higit pang mapaunlad ang pagsusubaybay ng mga mekanismo at pagsusubaybay upang masundan ang mga pangako sa pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian na ginagawa ng konteksto ng mga frameworks ng peace building. Number 4, increase coherence of UN actions in support of gender equality and peace building. A. Ensure that the priorities established in a peace-building frameworks and strategies reflect the best practice for achieving gender equity and supporting women's participation in peace-building. Engage appropriate partners across the UN system at national and regional levels with civil society and are appropriately resourced. Ito naman na para tiyakin ang mga prioridad na itinatag ng mga balangkas at estratehiya sa pagbuo ng kapayapaan, pangsumalalim sa pinakamahusay na kasanayan para sa pagkamit ng pagkakapantay-pantay na kasarian at pagsupport ng pakikilahok ng kababaihan sa pagbuo ng kapayapaan upang makipagtulungan sa mga nakaangkop ng kasosyo sa buong sistema ng UN sa pambansa at regional sa antas ng lipunang sibil. B. Develop system-wide policy coherence on women and peace building. Ito naman ay pagkabuo ng pagkakaugnay-ugnay ng patakaran sa malawak na sistema ng kababaihan at pagbuo ng kapayapaan. Number 5, ensure adequate resources to mainstream gender equity into peace building. A. Establish a trust fund for women and peace building with the aim of supporting strategic and catalytic activities to strengthen capacity, respond to critical gaps, and strategic priorities within the field of gender and peace building. Ito naman ay para magtatag ng trust fund para sa mga kababaihan at peace building na may layuning suportahan ang estratehiko at catalytic na aktibidad. Ito naman ay para upang palakasin ang mga kapasidad tumugon sa mga critical gaps at sa ekstrangherong prioridad sa loob ng larangan ng kasarian at pagbuo ng kapayapaan. B. Require that the gender analysis be included in all priority plans and budget specifying intended beneficiaries, indicators, and benchmark for achieving gender equality aims. Ito naman ay para atasan ang mga pagsusuri ng mga kasarian, iisama sa lahat ng prioridad na plano at budget na tumutukoy sa mga nilalayong benepisyaryo, tagapagpahiwatig at mga benchmark para sa pagkamit ng layunin ng pagkakapantay-pantay ng kasarian. C. Encourage the establishment of allocation mechanism that ensure an adequate proportion of funding is allocated for gender-sensitive programming. Ito naman ay para hikayatin ang pagpapatatag ng mga mekanismo ng alokasyon na nagsisiguro na sapat ang proportion ng ang pondo ay nilalaan sa mga gender-sensitive program.